We continue our 10 Investigates coverage of a 74-year-old man who died after being strapped in a restraint chair for hours at the Monroe County Justice Center. We first reported the story back in June. Police arrested the Monroe County man, Lester Isbill, for disorderly conduct after an employee at a Madisonville business called 911. She was worried because he was disoriented and she didn't want him to drive. Isbill ended up in jail, confined for hours, until he eventually stopped breathing. 10 News anchor Shay Smith and investigative producer John North secured body camera and jail video, plus 911 calls and incident reports from that day. Shay joins us now with more on this story.
Isbill's daughter, Wendy, says the evidence proves her dad was sick and needed to be medically treated, not arrested. Tonight, the last 11 hours of Lester Isbill's life, from the very first 911 call placed from Security Finance about him to the moment he was taken out of the jail cell on a stretcher. Here is the first part of our two-part story.
I pretty much relive it over and over every day.
Monroe County Communications.
We have an elderly customer, and he's got health issues, and he's very disorientated right now.
Is he wanting an ambulance?
No, he's not wanting anything. We're afraid to let him drive. He's very disorientated right now. He's 75. They may know him. It's Elijah Isbill.
74-year-old Elijah Lester Isbill, born and raised in Monroe County.
He had a loving, giving heart. He was a cheerful giver.
His name, Elijah, fitting as he preached more than 30 years. Isbill is declining in health. He has shown signs of early dementia, has diabetes, and a history of hypertension.
Security Finance, they have an elderly male there that's very confused, disoriented. They don't want an ambulance. They just want an officer to come out there and talk to him, see if they can maybe find the next of kin to take him home. They're not sure if he's got dementia or what's going on with him.
Around 12 p.m. on February 6th, a Thursday, an employee at Security Finance calls 911. The caller says Isbill is confused, wobbly. He needs medical attention. About 25 minutes later, officers with the Madisonville Police Department show up.
Hey, partner, how's it going?
I'm fixing to go get my buddy and then go to...
Okay. Here, let me hold on to this stick for you.
There you go.
That way you don't...
I've done a whole bunch of...
That's fine. Hey, you remember me?
That one there, I'm not finished.
You remember me? You remember Forrester?
Body camera obtained by 10 News shows Isbill disoriented while talking to officers.
Day is it?
This is 1948, ain't it?
1948? Who's president?
George Washington.
George Washington? What month is it?
I don't even know what year it is.
You don't know what year it is?
When he come in, he was fine, but then he went to stand up and he lost control, and you could see everything just kind of left his face. He didn't know what was talking about or anything.
Okay, we appreciate you. Thanks so much.
I'm just concerned about him.
Yeah, me too.
Dispatch wasn't even going to send EMS. I said, well, it might be a medical problem. I said, send them in case it's medical.
Yeah.
It is medical. For the next half hour, police try convincing the senior citizen to go with EMS. He continuously refuses. Eventually, a Madisonville police officer calls Isbill's daughter, Wendy Duncan, at 12:37 to come get him.
I think I'm out with your father by chance. Apparently he was at like Security Finance and he's a normal customer there, but he started acting disoriented and dropping his money and about fell. So we called EMS, but he's not wanting to go to the hospital, but he seems kind of disoriented and he doesn't need to drive. Is there any way somebody can come out here and pick him up? I mean, I've dealt with your dad before. It doesn't seem normal to me how he's acting.
The officer tells Isbill Wendy is on her way.
Oh, Wendy either. You want a good drink of water?
What's that?
This ain't got no chlorine in it.
Around 12:49, EMS takes his vitals.
218 over 110.
Can't get no blood
I checked your blood pressure. Now I'm checking your pulse. Oxygen level.
Isbill's blood pressure is so high it is considered a medical emergency, close to a stroke or heart attack.
That's not normal.
Lester.
He goes in these trances like that. Something clicking.
His blood pressure's through the roof.
Yeah.
Lester. You're either having a medical issue, you're under the influence, and that's it. So
let me go take care of my business.
So you go to the hospital?
I've got to go pay for my tires for my
We're not
tractor.
doing that. You have two options.
I ain't got no options.
Two options.
Go to jail too.
One or the other.
Isbill then expresses concern about going back to jail.
As long as they don't start treating me like a dad,
they're not going to treat you bad. They're not going to do that.
Drunk.
They're not going to do that.
They did the last time I was there.
He was treated horribly when he was in jail last time. He was jerked around. They cursed him and mistreated him. They stripped him naked and put him in a drunk tank.
In July 2024, a Monroe County judge dismissed a DUI charge against Isbill, finding no probable cause to prosecute him. A Monroe County deputy pulled Isbill over in May on his 74th birthday. She arrested him and accused him of driving under the influence with no physical evidence. His daughter said he was recovering at the time from surgery to get a pacemaker.
You think it's medical or something?
It's medical because his blood pressure's high.
Wendy gets to security finance at 107.
His blood pressure is really high. Yeah. Heart rate's low. He's refusing to go. We can't talk him into going.
Hey,
he says he's not going with you.
Listen, your blood pressure's really high, Dad, and your heart rate's low. It won't hurt to get talked out a little bit.
Are you taking him or no?
Yeah, I'll take him.
All right, we're not dealing with it.
Police and Duncan try convincing Isbill to leave with her or go to the hospital.
All they want to do is take you out and then let you go. They're going to get you levels and that's it.
Isbill becomes more and more agitated. Body cam footage shows the EMT telling the officer that despite Wendy having power of attorney over Isbill, they cannot force him to go to the hospital.
If y'all arrest me, still got to go get processed and get evaluated, and y'all got to make the decision.
I'm talking about as far as medicals side.
We can't force him because he's lucid.
Even with the medical power of attorney?
He's lucid, so the medical power of attorney doesn't work.
Lucid. Wendy thinks not.
Upset that he wouldn't come with me, but then to hear him, screaming and crying when he was put into the police car and refusing treatment, that just tells you, he wasn't clearly thinking. He wasn't lucid as he was described.
Wendy, under the impression Isbill will be taken to receive medical treatment.
Medicine and that's it. You're looking at just a couple hours. And then you'll be ready to go. Take him off.
That's been hard to live with. But as far as them assuring me, we can take him and get him treatment. And at that point I said, you may have to take him on.
Madisonville police arrest Isbill at 118 for disorderly conduct. It's a low-level misdemeanor.
Turn it loose.
Don't follow. You're under arrest.
Dashcam footage also captures the arrest.
Oh, you hitting a stormtroopers or something? Come on, get up here. You hurt my arm, quit. I'm gonna get fixed to go up there, leave me alone.
EMS tells officers Isbill needs medical help once at the jail.
And maybe you guys know who to contact for some kind of mental crisis people or anything?
I'll let the jail know and see if they can't contact mobile crisis or something like that.
In the police cruiser, Isbill wails and rambles.
Listen, you divide my constitutional right, freedom of speech, and the pursuit of evidence. Okay, I'm going to shut up. Oh, God. I got to go get my tires for my tractor so I can use it at home. Please, it's a Maris Ferguson 1965. All right, my dear son, tell me style, he got to tell me straight. What are you doing with my daughter Wendy for?
Officers arrive at the Monroe County Justice Center. Jail staff pull him out of the police car.
Wait a minute. Why did you hurt me? Oh, God, you're tender. I'm at the office. Oh,
He was terrified. He had mentioned to me that if he ever went back to that jail, they would kill him. And he was right.
The Monroe County Sheriff's Office confirms that Madisonville police officers told one of their staff Isbill needs medical attention. Jail incident reports prepared by corrections officers and obtained by WBIR state Isbill was intoxicated. He was not. A toxicology report will later prove that. He is placed in a holding cell. A camera inside the cell captures the last 10 hours of his life. It's almost as if he is preaching. Within minutes, he falls, hitting his head on the concrete bench. Rather than take him to the hospital, corrections officers put him in a restraint chair at 1:47 p.m. They say it's for his own safety, but he won't walk away alive. They also strip him of his pants after they find he had urinated on himself. An instruction and warning label for the SureGuard safety restraint chair says detainees should not be left in the chair for more than 2 hours. The Monroe County Sheriff's Office's policies and procedures for the restraint chair say once an inmate is placed in the restraint chair, they should be taken from the chair, given water, and allowed to use the bathroom every 60 minutes. It also says no person may be kept in the chair for over 4 hours without approval of the facility lieutenant. Jailers leave him in that chair for more than 9 hours, from afternoon till late at night. They give him no food, no water, or bathroom break the entire time.
He had low oxygen saturation at the time. He had high blood pressure. He was having breathing difficulties. Their response was not to get medical treatment or medical care. Their response was to put him in the restraint chair. And then soon after that, their response was, let's put him in a spit hood or a hood over top of his head where he remained till they ultimately he was carried out on a stretcher.
2 hours after he is confined in the chair, jail staff put a hood over Isbill's head. In a warning label for the transport hood, it says refrain from using the hood on individuals experiencing breathing difficulties. It also says continuous visual monitoring of the wearer is imperative and to never leave them unsupervised. But video shows they do not go in and check on him for hours at a time. Later, multiple corrections officers will be written up and reprimanded for falsifying a log created to track their care of him. Restraint chair logs 10 News has from the Monroe County Sheriff's Office shows Isbill is not checked on between 5:53 p.m. and 8:15 p.m. and between 8:23 p.m. and 11:10 p.m. Wendy Duncan says she calls the Justice Center multiple times to check on her father. She says she is never told he fell or that he is being held in a chair.
As hard as he fought to live in the chair, while he was in the chair, I think he would still be alive today. He had a lot of life left in him.
Jail records show Isbill's last movement is at 11:07. At 11:10, jail staff enter the cell and check on Isbill. He has no pulse. Jail staff call 911.
Monroe County 911.
Hello, this is Zip Reagan over jail. We need EMS and right. We have CPR in progress.
Okay, we'll send him over there. How long's he been down, do you know?
I do not.
420, boy, same job.
Okay.
How long has he been down for? What? You know how long he's been down for?
The operator's question goes unanswered as jail staff appear to be distracted with another phone call while still on the phone with 911.
You got dispatch, not go give them a hand?
What?
You got
Yeah.
All right, I'll let you go. EMS and first responders are headed that way, okay? Where do they need to come to?
At 11:13, jail logs show corrections deputies begin CPR. Staff give him Narcan to revive him. Autopsy records obtained by WBIR show he was never under the influence of drugs or alcohol. EMS arrives and continues CPR. They restore a pulse. At 11:43, Isbill is loaded onto a stretcher and taken to Blunt Memorial Hospital. He is pronounced dead a few hours later. His autopsy shows he died from an erratic heartbeat caused by heart disease from high blood pressure and artery buildup.
You know, it's bad enough to lose my father, but the way that I lost him, you know, I will in my heart that'll never be filled. But I don't believe his death will be in vain. I think he was a godly man, and maybe God let this happen for a reason, just to expose, some of the corruption and some of the things that are happening that, I would have never thought in a million years.
74 years of Lester Isbill's life revolve around his 2 daughters, 11 grandchildren, and 10 great-grandchildren. His life filled with farming, preaching, his community, and baptisms. For 74 years, 8 months, and 18 days, Elijah Lester Isbill's life is filled with love. But the last 12 hours and 18 minutes were filled with fear, a jail cell, a restraint chair, and isolation.
The Monroe County District Attorney says he will seek charges in the death of a 74-year-old man detained for hours by the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Back in February, sheriff's jailers put retired preacher Lester Isbill in a restraint chair for more than 9 hours. And while an autopsy originally showed he died of natural causes, an amended report now classifies his death as a homicide.
10 News reporter Lauren Lovett shares what's in that new autopsy. Lauren.
Robin, Brittany, this update comes after Isbill's family requested his death be reviewed again. Doctors who examined his body originally said he died due to an irregular heartbeat caused by underlying cardiovascular disease. He'd been in poor health. In this new report, however, 10 News has learned that examiners found Isbill's prolonged restraint in that chair and dehydration were contributing factors in his death. As we've reported for weeks now, sheriff's jailers never gave Isbill food, water, or even a bathroom break in all the time they held him. Isbill was arrested for disorderly conduct February 6th. He had a pacemaker and he'd been showing signs of dementia. Just before his arrest, he had dangerously high blood pressure on the verge of a stroke or heart attack. He declined medical care, so he was taken to jail. Soon after getting to the county jail, he fell and hit his head. Staffers then put him in a restraint chair, saying he posed harm to himself. They also put a hood over his head. Isbill never got out of that chair until he lost consciousness and stopped breathing. This afternoon, we spoke to the Monroe County DA about next steps. Stephen Hatchett gave us this statement, saying, "I respected the opinion of the Regional Forensic Center in its original report. I have been working diligently to determine what justice is in this case. I respect the findings in this amended report, and I will be presenting this matter to the grand jury." He says he plans to present the case early next month. We also heard back from the sheriff's office. In a release, they say this new development has led the sheriff's office administration to suspend 5 officers with pay. We should note some of these men were previously disciplined in this case and kept their jobs. According to the sheriff's office, this afternoon, every person directly involved in Isbill's confinement has been terminated, suspended with and without pay, or has resigned. Isbill's death, being seen as a homicide, opens the door for the district attorney and even federal authorities to proceed with a criminal investigation.
There for a while, it was like, you're screaming on top of a mountain and nobody's hearing what you're saying. And it felt kind of hopeless.
Wendy Duncan says she has been fighting for justice for her father, Lester Isbill, since the day he died. On February 6th, an employee at a local business called 911 asking for a medical check for Isbill. The caller told the operator he was disoriented and confused. Madisonville police and EMS responded. EMTs took his vitals, and he had dangerously high blood pressure and low oxygen. Isbill declined medical care and was taken to the county jail. While there, he fell and hit his head. Jail staff then put him in a restraint chair. Soon after, they put a hood over his head. Isbill received no food, no water, and no bathroom break. He was in the chair for more than 9 hours. When jail staff checked on him around 11 p.m., he had no pulse. His autopsy showed he died of natural causes. But almost 6 months after his death, his daughter says she is 2 steps closer to getting justice for her father.
I think we're going to be getting somewhere. You know, it's not over yet, but we're finally heading in the right direction.
On Friday, the Knox County Regional Forensic Center amended his autopsy and now classifies his death as homicide.
After watching the videos, you know, I'm like, this was not a natural death.
Doctors who examined his body originally said he died due to an irregular heartbeat caused by underlying cardiovascular disease. In the new report, examiners found Isbill's prolonged restraint in the chair and dehydration were contributing factors in his death. Now, Monroe County DA Stephen Hatchett says he will seek charges in this case.
I don't think a slap on the wrist would be justice, because ultimately everything that was done and played a role in his death. Everyone there had a chance to help him and decided not to.
DA Hatchett told 10 News he will present the case to a grand jury as early as next month. Wendy says still she does not believe her father's death will be in vain.
I believe it was for a reason, maybe for this very specific reason, to keep it from happening to anyone else.
We begin with breaking news tied to the death of a man in Monroe County held for hours in a jail restraint chair. Lester Isbill died back in February after deputies took him into custody in Monroe County. Today, a grand jury indicted 7 people for their role in that 74-year-old former pastor's death and his confinement.
10 News anchor Shay Smith and investigative producer John North have been gathering records and reporting on Lester Isbill's story for months now. Shay joining us now with the latest details. Shay.
Robin and John, this is the presentment that we received late this afternoon after the indictments for 7 people came down. Now, those facing charges are nurses Courtney Woods and Greg Mills, and correction officers former Corporal Jaron Henry, former Corporal Elijah Spencer, Tyler Finger, Tommy Reagan, and Sergeant Joshua Duncan. Now, these arrests come after the February death of retired preacher Lester Isbill. He died after authorities at the Monroe County Justice Center held him in a restraint chair for more than 9 hours. Isbill had been arrested for disorderly conduct after an employee at a local business in Madisonville called 911 for a medical check on him. Madisonville police responded to the call and found Isbill confused and disoriented. EMS arrived and took his vitals. His blood pressure was so high it was considered a medical emergency. Isbill did not want to go to the hospital or with EMS, so Madisonville police arrested him and took him to the Justice Center. But after he was booked and taken to a cell, he fell and hit his head. Instead of receiving medical treatment, correction officers strapped him into a restraint chair that you see right there and held him like that for more than 9 hours. Also, for 7 of those hours, he was hooded. Jail staff checked on Isbill around 11 p.m. and found that he had no pulse. He was taken to Blunt Memorial Hospital where he was pronounced dead. Isbill's autopsy originally said he died of natural causes, but on August 21st, the Knox County Forensic Center took the rare step of amending his autopsy to classify his death as a homicide. After that, Monroe County District Attorney Stephen Hatchett told WBIR he would take this case to the grand jury. And again, the grand jury has indicted 7 people so far in this case. The charges include criminally negligent homicide, official misconduct, and false reports. Now, to be specific, Nurse Courtney Woods was indicted on criminally negligent homicide. Nurse Greg Mills was indicted on making a false report, while the 5 correction officers were indicted on official misconduct. Next, the defendants will have a court date and enter a plea. They could face trial. And in the last 15 minutes, the Monroe County Sheriff has released a statement questioning the recent investigation. He continues to say that he believes his staff is not guilty of homicide, while saying that he will continue to cooperate with the legal process.
DA Stephen Hatchett asked the grand jury to look into the jail's management, partly because of what happened with Isbill, but also just generally to determine who is responsible for what. The Monroe County grand jury met on July 7th to review evidence regarding Lester Isbill's time in jail and the use of a restraint chair. They came up with 4 suggested changes to restraining chair procedures. Before using the chair, the jail nurse must complete a full medical workup. Then the nurse and jail lieutenant must each write a statement as to why the person needs to be restrained and that they can tolerate it. They must also include why there are no other means to control the person. The person must be placed somewhere where they can be seen by jail officials at all times. And lastly, after the first 2 hours in the chair, the nurse and lieutenant must re-examine the person, and additional reports must be written as why the person must and can stay restrained. That is to continue every hour until the person is released. 10 News obtained the jail's policies earlier this year, which state a person should be removed from the chair, given water, and allowed to use the bathroom every hour. They also say that no one should be kept in the chair for more than 4 hours without the facility lieutenant's approval. In Isbill's case, he had extensive health issues, including dangerously high blood pressure, levels close to a stroke or heart attack. Those vitals were taken about 30 minutes before he was arrested. Isbill was left in the restraint chair for more than 9 hours, with no food, water, or break for the bathroom. They also put a hood over his head, and twice during those 9 hours, staff and nurses went more than 2 hours without checking on him.
After 7 people were indicted in the February death of Lester Isbill, 10 News re-reviewed footage from inside his cell and identified each person who was indicted. We've been telling you about this case since early June. Corporal Elijah Spencer is the correction officer who reported finding Isbill unresponsive around 11:15 on February 6th. Spencer's personnel file shows he started at the sheriff's office in May of 2023 as a correction officer. In his jail incident report, he says he was the one who began CPR on Isbill after noticing he had stopped moving while in the restraint chair. Spencer resigned March 19th. He is charged with official misconduct. Corporal Jaron Henry was one of the deputies who removed Isbill from the Madisonville police vehicle and took him into the jail. Records show Henry's first day at MCSO was in June of 2022. The sheriff's office told 10 News in July that Henry was fired in June for failing to obtain a medical evaluation for Isbill at intake. He is charged with official misconduct. Sergeant Josh Duncan was the sergeant on shift when Isbill was brought to the Monroe County Justice Center. According to a jail incident report, he instructed Officers Finger and Anthony Berg to place Isbill in a restraint chair. Duncan was hired in March of 2019. Personnel files show he was written up in 2021 for violating policy and procedures regarding a set of missing keys. In 2020, he was reprimanded for not thoroughly searching an inmate who had almost $500 in cash on him. In May of this year, he was written up for failure to supervise because he allowed restraint chair logs for Isbill to be falsified. His personnel file shows he disagrees with the statement, saying he was the shift supervisor, but Corporal Henry was the one who checked the logs. He was suspended for 3 days without pay on May 27th. On August 22nd, the sheriff said he had placed Duncan and 4 other deputies on paid suspension. Duncan is charged with official misconduct. Officer Tyler Finger is one of the deputies who placed Isbill in the restraint chair. Finger's first day at MCSO was last August. Before that, he was at the Loudoun County Sheriff's Office. In his job application documents, he says he was dismissed from the Loudoun County Sheriff's Office after being accused of sexual assault. In his note, he says, "I do not know why these allegations were made." The Loudoun County Sheriff's Office tells 10 News the Sheriff's Office was investigating the allegations and they terminated Finger. Also, they say the woman in the case did not want to press charges. In March of this year, Finger was written up for flipping off the camera while in the jail cell with Isbill. On May 30th, he resigned, saying he had taken another job. Finger is also charged with official misconduct. Tommy Reagan was also on shift while Isbill was held at the Justice Center. Supervisors wrote Reagan up in May for violation of safety rules. The warning says he, quote, falsified chair logs. It says personnel failed to conduct some of the individual checks as listed, according to TBI and DA office. Reagan was suspended without pay for 3 days in May. On August 22nd, the sheriff announced he was now suspended with pay. Reagan is charged with official misconduct as well. Nurse Courtney Woods is the first nurse to be seen in the jail cell video. She worked the day shift when Isbill was brought in. The sheriff says the nurses are contracted employees. The grand jury indicted Woods on 1 count of criminally negligent homicide. Nurse Greg Mills worked the night shift when Isbill was in custody. He was in the cell while officers tried to revive Isbill. Mills is charged with 1 count of making a false report.